My video for September the 26th, 2018, video number 2857, is entitled Practicing Silent Observation and Contemplation. Over the years, I have talked with numerous people regarding spiritual practices. Prayer and meditation are words often used to describe the practices. Of course, service to others is also a spiritual practice, which, for me at this time, is making my daily videos. If I continue that and reach January 2019, which is when I began that routine, I will have close to 3,000 videos. That's the publicly visible part of my ministry. No one but me can see the secret part. Since a teenager or even earlier, I have made it a daily practice to pray and meditate, even though some say that my form of meditation is invalid. I no longer attempt to quiet the mind or stop my thoughts. I simply become the quiet observer. As I approach my 72nd birthday next month, I note that I spend more time in quiet contemplation than at any other time in my life. Perhaps that's the benefit of living alone. As I sit in silence or lay back and simply observe my mind and body, I am well aware of thoughts and emotions that come and go, as well as bodily sensations, mostly aches and pains at this stage. I cannot help but wonder how much longer my body will hold out, or is it holding on? I guess my priorities are different than God's, since my most ignored prayer over the past few years has been my complete healing, which means no more numbness in my feet, nor the occasional chest or kidney pains and dizziness. The sad reality for me is that my prayers for healing have been virtually ignored. I keep asking, why? Actually, I will reach that 3,000 number, I think a little bit before the end of February next year. If my numbers are correct, or at least by the end of February. But in any case, I have long wondered why I keep doing this every day, and I guess the real answer is, what else am I supposed to do with all the time that I have? I don't like watching television. In fact, I've been here in this apartment now for since February last year, and I have had the TV on one time. And that was when the hurricane was coming, and I was getting the various news reports on what was going on. Now, of course, I could have probably gotten them on the internet, but I actually did turn on the TV. I have a TV, but I don't watch it. And my practices don't even involve listening to the radio. Now, I do listen to music on the internet, and I do listen to my Seekers CD. They're my favorite all-time group, the Seekers from Australia. You've heard me talk about them, and some of you have heard me talk about those in previous videos. And I still like listening to Elvis Presley, believe it or not. And he's more famous now since he died than he was when he was alive, or at least his enterprise is making more money now than it did when he was alive. I guess the enterprise people that run that program are not as generous as Elvis was. Elvis gave away money almost as fast as he was able to make it, and gave away a lot of things during the course of his life. And if you paid any attention to that, you know that that's true. In any case, folks, I spend an awful lot of time just sitting in my chair here at the desk, sometimes watching videos and listening to what other people are having to say, and sometimes sitting back in a chair here in the living room, or going and laying on the bed and just pondering. Sometimes I fall asleep when I'm laying on the bed. I don't know that I've ever done that sitting down. Maybe I have. It's certainly not often. But in any case, I have spent a life of spiritual practices. In the beginning, it was reading the Bible, as well as the prayers. And meditation, I think, came a little bit later. That wasn't early on. I didn't even know what meditation was early on, because it was not something that was emphasized in my religious upbringing. But I began to read, even fairly early on, I began to read other sacred texts of other religions and learn about other religions, because to me, the whole thing is about loving and building bridges, not erecting walls and saying, well, we're in this little group here and we're the ones that are right, and you're going to hell or whatever. That's certainly, a lot of Christians have come up with that insane mode of thinking and conduct, which is very unspiritual to me. I wish we could all just simply love one another. But I do wrestle with the fact that what for me are very, very important prayers for my personal life, and that is, I don't want to have these symptoms of a heart attack or symptoms of kidney, whatever is going on with my kidneys. And it always dissipates. I mean, I breathe into it and do the practices that I've been doing for a long time, and it always dissipates, whether it's the dizziness or whether it's the pains, the physical aches and pains that I'm feeling in my body. It doesn't last. And I often, in more recent months, have wondered if I hadn't gone and had the second open heart surgery, would I still be alive? Or would that have passed also? Would that situation have just simply dissolved? I don't know the answer. And there's a lot of things I don't know the answer to, which is why I'm sometimes skeptical of even the idea of there being a loving God, because I feel that I have been a mostly faithful servant. And that doesn't mean that I've never done anything wrong. It doesn't mean that I've never made mistakes. It doesn't mean that I have all the answers and that I'm perfect in all my ways, as it described Job in the Bible. He was a righteous man and perfect in all his ways. I can't say that that's true of me, and I don't know that it was true of Job either, even though that's what was recorded and left for us to consider and contemplate. But in any case, I have a long history, a lifelong history of moving in a spiritual direction and wanting spiritual information and trying to learn and open my mind to different ideas. And I mean, that was from early teenage years. I mean, they thought I was crazy because I was questioning things. Well, you're not supposed to question. You're just supposed to believe. Well, I'm sorry. God gave me a mind that works. And as I said in the blurb, I spend a lot of time just observing as the thoughts go through my mind and observing the emotions that come up, because there's always emotions and thoughts. They seem to be attached to each other. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I've noticed that. Now, I think a lot of people are taught not to pay any attention to their feelings, and yet I think the feelings are what give credence to the thoughts that we think. How does that thought that you have in your mind feel as you let it sink into your body, into your tissues? Because all of it is interrelated to me. And I just wish with all of my heart that God would answer the prayers of those like myself who sincerely want all of mankind to be uplifted and would like to see actual justice with mercy accomplished on this planet, so that the kingdom of heaven could actually become what we as humans experience on a day-to-day level. It doesn't make us perfect, but it'll make us more aware. And that's the important thing to me, is becoming aware of the reality in which I live. Some say it's just an illusion. I think that's a cop-out. It's the experience that matters. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.